Medieval is this the world.
Air clap.
All right, so.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Puerto Rico.
Dr. Cinnamon here.
So let me introduce Dr. Cinnamon, Sanchez STRAUSS, from Ideal Posture and Spine in Charleston, South Carolina. So if you're watching our documentary, you have seen Dr. Cinnamon numerous times explaining stuff. I think there's even one camera shot of her picking up dog poop.
There is.
We should have got a camera shot of yeah.
We're not going to ask that question.
We're going to be talking to Dr. Keto here, ketones. So let's say you haven't seen the documentary. I'm shooting a documentary in Charleston, South Carolina, and the idea of the documentary is how much can you change if you commit 100% to the chiropractors that I've come to. So not only is it changing the actual structure of the spine, but also looking at the mental and emotional health of the individual through nutrition, supplements, exercise, lifestyle, and sleeping. And I don't want to use the word holistic because as soon as you say that, people switch off. So, but it is it's a complete look at your life and how to change it.
You're right, Marvin. It's about lifestyle, you know. You're breathing, eating, and living like the docs, right? And a lot of people ask us, actually Seth and I were having this question this morning. A lot of people ask us, well, how do you do it? How do you do it? And it's like, I cannot explain it. I can explain it to you. It's easier said than done. For example, when I was out with the girls 2 weekends ago, and we were looking at food content and talking about this and that, and one of the girls is like, as soon as I see Katally in a bathing suit, I go to the other girl's side and take a picture. She goes, you look too good in a bathing suit. She goes, I'm embarrassed to stand next to you and take a picture. And Seth and I were talking this morning, why? It's so easy to fall off the wagon, and it's so hard to get back on. So Seth and I have been doing this lifestyle for so many years. I mean, at least 20 years. That it's easy for me to eat, hypothetically speaking, pizza, ice cream, and get back on it the next day. Boom. Doesn't hurt my feeling. I don't feel sorry for it. Waiting for the next day. Whereas we have other ladies in my life that do a whole 30. Whole 30 is this American thing where for 30 days you don't eat any meat or protein. It's only vegetables. Well, she did a whole day 3. She did 3 days of whole 30. And she goes, I just couldn't get back on eating healthy because you have that moment of weakness. It's mind over power, my friend.
Definitely. Definitely. I think also I spoke to someone yesterday, which we know, both of us. I'm not going to say the name, but I just said to her, it's like
I know who you're talking about.
In certain circles, you have to reach a rock bottom before you are willing to change.
Certainly.
And I think with food, it's quite difficult to hit a rock bottom. I think cigarettes is one of the most difficult things to get off. I think that's extremely difficult to get off.
Absolutely.
There are some, listen, I don't drink, and it was quite easy because I got blackouts. And then I didn't get the blackout where I go to sleep. It was the consciousness disappears, but this body is still continuing and causing chaos, and then you wake up the next day and you hear about it. And in those situations, it's quite easy to hit your rock bottom because you see the destruction that this, let's say, thing is doing to you. It's the same with, let's say, narcotics. It's a little bit easier. Let's say you had to buy chocolate like you had to do heroin. You had to put yourself... I didn't do heroin, okay?
I do it all the time.
But let's say you had to go into a very dodgy neighborhood. You have to put, let's say, your life slightly at risk to go get this narcotic.
Yeah.
And you know that it's illegal and stuff, like, then it's also a lot easier to realize what this isn't good for me. But I think with food, it's so readily available. We were in a shop yesterday. If I look over my shoulder, it's because there's a
Ghost.
there's a small doctor in front of me and there's a huge doctor behind me.
Giant.
We were in a shop yesterday and we were buying sponges and we were about to check out at the self-checkout, and then there were these boxes of cookies on special. I'm like, someone has a food problem. They were literally like, I fucking made it. Finish line, check out. I didn't pick up that dodgy shit that I walked past, and then that last minute, just as they feel like, fuck, I can get out of here, then they almost have like that relapse thought. And I think food is extremely difficult to get off.
It's an emotional attachment, Marve. It's a total emotional attachment. It's like we said at the Fall Nutrition Fix. If I tell you not to have sex with your wife for 5 days, you're like, yeah, sure, easy, done. You're like, I can handle it. If I tell you not to eat for 5 days, you're like, what? What do you mean? We have this emotional attachment. It's our comfort food, whether we're sad, whether we're happy, whether we celebrate, whether it's our birthday. I mean, food brings family together or relationships together. So yeah, it's an emotional attachment.
And even taking that metaphor of yours further, let's say we don't go extreme, don't eat for, you said, I think in the workshop, 3 days.
3 days.
So, for example, don't eat for 3 days, very difficult. But tell someone don't eat bread for 3 days.
Oh.
Or don't eat gluten for 3 days. They'll be like, well, what do you eat?
That's a good one.
If I cut out gluten, then what do I actually have?
That's all I eat.
And not only that, then it's like, is rice gluten?
That's a good one.
Is beans gluten?
Yeah, no, all of a sudden you don't know.
And I listened to a podcast on Joe Rogan, and they had some... He gets a lot of interesting people on, but there was this guy, the company does nutrition, and they help athletes become healthy nutritionally. And they say they have two determinations. One is a chef and one is a cook. So they start by teaching all their athletes to be cooks. And a cook means you are given the recipe and ingredients. Go do it. But in the long run, they want them to be chefs where they can go into the supermarket and go choose what. And I quite like that distinction, because staying with you guys, I'm not even yet a cook. I'm like the retard pot wash that's gonna check with the cooks.
The sous chef. He was actually my sous chef. What do you need me to do? And I'm like, bum, 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 bum.
But I quite like that because, I've got to become a cook that follows instructions, and then after a long period of time, figuring out what works for me, what doesn't work for me, I can become a chef.
And you're right, Marva. That's one of the biggest objections I get from patients is, but I don't cook. Because it's so easy to either get fast food or go to Zaxby, just go in, get the food already pre-made and whatnot. And honestly, if you want to be healthy, you cannot go out to eat on a regular basis. I have another patient. He's having bowel issues. His stool just isn't consistency. His consistency isn't solid. Sorry. Nice 6 o'clock in the morning over here. No, it's not. And I tell him, I said 10 days. 10 days. Plan 10 days to not go out to eat.
Yeah.
You know what he tells me? I can't do it. And then, you know what? I just sort of throw my hands up. I go, well, I can't help you. That's your problem. That's your health.
Yeah.
You have to cook. Another person in Puerto Rico, when I was there 2 months ago, Katally, how do you still look so good? Do you cook at home? And I go, it's the only reason I look so good and I'm so healthy is because I cook at home. So that's number one. You have to start cooking at home.
Okay, but so let's say you cook at home.
Without gluten.
Yeah, I just think it's...
And expensive. That's the other one. It's so expensive.
Yeah, but... So, again, looking over my shoulder, my first point of contact with posture and spine is the strong doctor behind me. But it's so deep, though, this whole nutritional thing. Because it's like, yes, it's expensive, but then it's like the counter argument is, well, if you don't buy shit, if you buy shit, you have to eat a lot of food. Yeah. And if you eat less food, then it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
Then it's like...
or or your health. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off right there because it goes like this. Well, it's expensive. Yeah, well, it's either going to be cheap now and expensive in the long run when you're sick, going to hospital bills, and now trying to do everything in your power to get healthier, or you invest a little bit of that expense now so that when you're 60, 70, 80s, you're not in the hospital, you're not trying to lose weight, you're not trying to get rid of heart disease or something like that. 2 coins.
So I don't want to do like a nutritional workshop because it's just too deep and it's a little bit overwhelming. Like even the workshop we did the other night, it can be quite overwhelming when you get all the stuff like. So the workshop touched on the pots and pans that you use and how there's chemicals coming off that stuff. And I'm like,
cooking oils.
I just wanted to know if I'm allowed to eat avocado. Like, you're telling me not to have this pot and pan in my house. So it can get a little bit overwhelming. If people wanted to email you guys and say, send me the slideshow.
That's something Dr. Seth and I have to discuss because we can send you slideshow. One, you may not understand.
Yeah.
And
it's just that it's like somehow make contact with posture and spine if you're in the Charleston area and, you feel like having a bit of a chat and figuring things out then.
Oh, we can get on a nice call. We have no problem emailing simple questions. And honestly, when it comes to nutrition, we're not going to get into details. The 4 things. The 4 things I tell people, nutrition starts here. Stop dairy. Carbohydrates. Yes, y'all, that's gluten. You can Google where gluten is found in. Sugars. Sugars. And, I'm forgetting the 4th one. What is the 4th one? Sugars, dairy, gluten. Hey, Doc, I'm having a brain fart. What are the 4 things we tell people not to eat?
4 things.
Yeah, is it just 3?
Sugar, dairy, refined carbohydrates.
Abort. 3 things. That's it.
Those are the biggest 3
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Nutrition and a plate. Done.
So it's just so weird because if you look at the old era, we are evolving constantly. But the old science was like just before you go do your marathon, then throw your pasta and. Yeah.
Yeah, because pasta, it gives you energy, carbohydrates. They don't understand that these energy and these carbohydrates turn into inflammation. It actually weighs you down. How many times have you eaten a bowl of pasta and you're like, oh my God, I'm so full? Or even eating pizza. Versus you eat a can of sardines, you're running through the field, you're like, oh man, I feel great 30 minutes later. You eat a bowl of pasta, 30 minutes later, you are still feeling full and heavy. Different perception.
So I want to let's spend maybe 10 minutes discussing why we don't want to eat these 3 things. Then I want to go into quickly about the gut biome, if we can talk about that, because I found something quite cool and changing within my gut biome since I've been here, which is interesting. And then the thing that I want to talk about are tests that can help you identify what is good or bad for you. You have a few tests at your
Oficina?
Institute. And then also supplements, which will probably be about half an hour discussion, because I just find it interesting that we can't get all the nutrients from our rivers and farms.
Yeah.
And you got to take pills, and it's just it just blows my mind. So the 3 things we said is carbs,
carbohydrates.
But can we break it down into, for example, carbs and gluten, 2 separate things? Because I think people struggle to. Okay. Let's say.
I hear you. Took me a second to process. Yeah.
So we can say, let's say carbs, gluten, sugar, and dairy. So let's start with dairy.
Okay.
And maybe explain the concept of inflammation in your body that is caused by food.
Absolutely. So we'll start with dairy. The best analogy I like to tell patients, and they get shocked, is, we all grew up with dairy. Dairy, what? Makes you nice and strong. It's full of calcium.
Yeah.
Fortified vitamin D. It's strong for your bones. And you know what? At a moment in time, that would have been correct, right? We didn't know any better. Moving forward, let's talk about it. What is dairy for? It's for a 300-pound calf. It's that simple. It's for a 300. We are the only mammals.
This calf.
The leg calf, y'all. That's right. Totally. It comes a moment in time that even that baby calf, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Calf?
Yeah.
Weans off mom's tit, man. It just stops drinking it. Monkeys, even dolphins. Don't even know if dolphins have freaking milk.
Even Tyrannosaurus Rex babies
Rex
stop
babies,
drinking
like,
that shit.
Yes, even fish. Fish. Everybody wins off. And here we are as humans drinking another mammal's milk for consumption to grow healthy. Let it be because, hey, maybe mom's breast didn't produce any milk. Yes, I understand the concept of substitution, but now moving forward, we are smarter and we realize that this milk isn't made for us humans. That is probably taken in the short term. Could it help a baby thrive? Sure. But is it meant to be drank for 25, 30 years, even 85? I still know people that buy gallons of milk on a daily basis. So number one, it's not made for human consumption. Why? It has lactose. We all have a lactose gene. And everybody processes lactose differently. And this gene isn't necessary, like I said, it's not for us. Therefore, it causes inflammatory response. Not everything that is out there for us is specific for us. Or, we all have genes that we can turn on and turn off, right? And if we have these genes, this coffee that I'm drinking that has dairy in it, dairy does not really affect me like it affects other people. And in my theory, Carolyn Burson, my wellness coach, wouldn't agree with this, but everything in moderation is okay.
Crack cocaine.
Crack cocaine in moderation.
Twice a year isn't so bad.
Yeah.
But sorry, on that topic, because I've watched you now. I think your body does manage some of these things better than some bodies.
Absolutely.
I think you're not as sensitive as certain bodies.
Correct.
Like if I had to eat some of the stuff or have some of the stuff you've had, then I'm like, and it's weird because there's bigger surface for that little bit of milk to spread through. You have like a very small surface volume within your body, but your body handles it.
My body handles it fine. I don't get bloating. I don't get gassy. I don't get diarrhea. I don't get headaches. No. But I do have a sensitivity to cow milk. So I know it's causing inflammation within my body. What is it causing? You sometimes can't feel inflammation. I felt inflammation 3 years ago. I got this lip rash. That's how I actually brought in this the food sensitivity into the practice. Should we just get into this topic now? It's going into the food sensitivity.
Let's not, because one professor, Jaco Geldenhuis, told me, what I don't like is that I really like the topics you talk about, but you keep on jumping. And I would like to go into depth about the one. So we're talking about the three things that we don't want to have, and we'll get to the test later.
Thanks. So dairy is a pro-inflammatory.
Yeah.
The calcium and the vitamin D that's in the dairy is actually added in by humans in the manufacturing process. Why? Does it probably have its natural nutrients? Yes, but since it's illegal for us to get it from the cow tit and into our mouth, it has to go through a boiling process, then it has to go through this mechanical process, and then they have to remove the fat, probably add some antibiotics or probiotics to kill the shit that's in there. Therefore, it's great for human consumption.
And it's good for business if you have that rule that you're not allowed to have it directly from the cow, because then there's all these intermediaries making money.
Exactly.
So,
whereas if we were out in nature, we would probably have it straight from the cow.
It's just like, I wish we could develop technology where you can take a little thermometer, how do you call it?
Thermometer.
And you just stick it into whatever you're about to consume, and it will tell you a score from 0 to 10 how healthy it is. And what you exactly get out of it. So, for example, if you...
Create that app.
Yeah.
Done.
So, for example, let's take some milk from the cow. Let's stick my thermometer in that and see how much calcium is in there. Let's see everything that's in there. And I think that's the future at one point. Because maybe it's healthy to drink a pint of milk directly from a cow once a month.
That's we don't know. I've never drank milk directly from a cow. But again, could it be healthy? Sure. From the cow, does it have... Yes. Would it make you grow? Would it make a baby thrive? Yes. But I really don't know the benefits in detail, so we're going to make that thermometer.
Yeah, but can you imagine? Then it's like there's no more arguments. Because I think the problem at the moment, there's no real evidence to substantiate certain ideologies or arguments or so like we talking like yes there is, but I'm talking about you literally like
naturally.
let's just
like
fucking
naturally.
walk around and be like
Naturally.
this coffee here, let me put it in like
Let me see how much information.
this Mars bar that's in front of me, let me put it, like it will tell you everything that you got to know. And like it comes up like on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, like Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Where he has
Yes.
this invisible, so then you put it in, this invisible screen
Boom.
comes up and
Yes.
it got all this shit and you're like, yeah, okay,
Oh,
cool.
that would be fabulous. Fabulous. But now there's research stating that cow milk for human consumption is actually causing osteoporosis. It is a fact. It is known. Therefore, again, we continue to evolve. Osteoporosis, but it's filled with fortified vitamin D and calcium. Yeah, but it's fake supplements that the human industry is adding to this already processed milk. Not only that, again, it's not made for human consumption. It is a fact. It's causing osteoporosis. It's a pro-inflammatory, period.
Do you guys want some research on it?
No.
Yeah. No.
No. Because
No.
I know Dr. Katally and I are already behind time.
Okay.
And if
to
we-
be
You
continued.
said there was no research. There's a lot of
There's
No,
research.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's no research if me and you are standing next to a certain product or a certain cow. Because when you go into the fields, onto different farms, we can't stand there and say this cow has been given this.
Cow milk isn't good for human consumption.
No, but you don't hear me. What I'm saying is when I talk about this cow, I'm standing next to this cow, I'm about to take its milk. There's no statistics at that point as the milk come out, what this cow's been on, what type of grass it's been eating and all of that. So
I don't understand the statistics.
I'm saying a specific cow.
Yeah.
Well, a
Different-
specific cow that's in an organic
Yeah,
farm.
but I'm not talking about
No,
Um,
but it is, because the majority of cows in America is Holstein cows. That's
Yeah.
a specific species of
but look, cows is an example of products. It's a product that I'm talking about.
cow. There's different species, so you know what the different species produce.
Yeah, but I'm talking
He's talking about just a regular cow
I'm
right now.
talking
We have a
about
cow
cows,
right here.
meat, fish, vegetables. So you have a thermometer that you can stick into any product that you're about to consume. I'm just saying lactose as an example. If you've taken 3 generations of cows that hasn't been eating
Genetically modified.
genetically modified stuff, that hasn't been in stressful environments, that has been looked after as if it's been, and then 3 generations later, you can stick something in, because that milk might be different from the milk that we're purchasing at the moment, and that's the
Oh,
idea.
yes. Oh, it would
Which
totally
will be
different.
interesting. Then possibly we're at the. So it will be cool to have this tool that
That we're going to make out.
there is this overall blanket, but maybe if we'd use certain farming techniques or something. The same as we were in the shop yesterday and we didn't want to buy the farm-raised salmon.
Ew.
So there's certain farming techniques that might change certain products.
Oh, the genetic.
Over
the genetic,
a long period
yeah,
of
the
time.
offsprings absolutely matter. It would. Totally would. You know, they're feeding farm raised. Do fish eat corn? Oh, wait, no, but farm raised fish eat corn. Literally.
Is that what they throw the fish?
Oh my God, I throw the fish whatever you freaking want.
No
it's
way.
human-made food.
50% of antibiotics in America from the medical industry is spent on antibiotics for cows specifically.
Okay.
For cows. And the feed that we give, I really don't know the specifics, but I'm almost positive that when you do a farm-raised farm, you feed them whatever is
Yeah.
going to plump the fish and make them grow fast,
Mm.
which could be corn, wheat, rice, stuff that
Thigh rubber.
thyroid, stuff that literally the fish don't naturally eat in the ocean.
It's so weird though that you have, let's say, the FDA that is having to put their stamps on everything. And it's like,
I know.
it just seems like such a redundant fucking bullshit thing. But anyway, let's not get into that.
Okay.
That is a podcast for another day.
Yes. Yes.
We sit down with the Illuminati and ask them, why are you putting your stamps in the form of FDA? Okay, so next one. So
Yeah.
inflammation into the body with dairy. So why is gluten so bad for you?
Gluten.
Or carbohydrates. So what's the different types of carbs that you get? Is that also a different podcast for one day?
Yeah, that'll be a totally different podcast for one day, but let's talk about the gluten itself. So
Yeah.
gluten, it's found in wheat. Wheat has two proteins. It has the germ cell and the gluten. Right, I think it's the germ cell and the gluten. So when it's bleached, they remove the outside shell of it. So then you know how you have whole wheat and bleach wheat? One of them is brown and one's white. They actually bleach the brown one and remove the outing and give you the white one. Same thing they do with white rice. White rice is usually brown and then they bleach it.
And fried rice?
Delicious. Soy sauce. Soy sauce. MSG on the delicious fried rice. So the gluten, again, the bread that we eat today is not the bread Jesus made. I don't know how long ago was Jesus, 2,000 years ago, BC, AC. We're not going to get into that. You know what I'm saying. It's not the same type of
Where are you going this weekend?
silence.
Silent night.
Silence. And the wheat that we used to eat before was literally non-processed. Grandma picked it from the fields. She probably ground it at home, etc., etc. It would take days to get the yeast growing and grow, etc. Now moving forward, technology is just like dairy. Our wheat is most likely genetically modified, it's farm raised. Now it has all these pesticides, and the gluten part of it, it probably isn't that bad. But now we eat gluten on a daily basis, just like we did with dairy. We start growing up with it on a daily basis, and our bodies can't handle the same shit every single time. Okay? If we were out in the wild, we wouldn't have access to gluten or wheat on a daily basis. It's a process. Therefore, the gluten in it, just like the dairy, it's a pro-inflammatory. It actually has gliadin. Is it glycine or gliadin? Gliadin. I was right. It's one or the other, you know? I'm bilingual.
What's it in Spanish?
No idea. Glutino. I don't know what it is in Spanish.
Okay, let's
Anyways. We just know that gliadin is an outside coating of the wheat germ. Therefore, we already know, again, not technology, research shows that gliadin is a toxic, and it's toxic for us. So what do you have to do with the wheat? Now you have to soak them overnight, which is very similar to what you have to do with legumes. It has all these facets. Starts with a P, H.
Facets.
It's not facets.
Faucets.
Yeah, this is getting into a lot of technical terms, but there's on the outside, it's actually a repellent for bugs, so that the wheat germ can actually grow and it protects itself. It has these outer coatings that are not made for human consumption. Therefore, you have to soak them overnight so that actually this outing disappears, moving forward, etc. Gluten. Nowadays, gluten is just a pro-inflammatory, just like dairy.
Because the idea I get here when you talk, it's almost like marijuana. It's like,
I like marijuana.
we're gonna go from gluten to
Yes.
marijuana, but it's like marijuana is not bad for you. If you want to use now a blanket term, it's so difficult to say this.
Yes.
But where was it grown? By who was it refined and processed? And what is the whole process from even before the seed went into the earth? It's like if you go do, if you want to study how good wine comes about, it's about what has the earth gone through where they plant the vines this last X amount of decades. Then it's that. Then it's like a long-term process until they actually give you the bottle. And it's almost like the same with marijuana. Like, what is the process that it's gone through? So some marijuana, I feel or believe, again, no statistics here, but I think it's really good. You know, please enjoy yourself. And some of it will be bad. And it's the same with gluten. There's some gluten in a certain amount that might possibly be okay for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Again,
And-
like I say, anything in moderation is good. But now our moderation is just every day.
Crazy.
Crazy. Let me just say something about marijuana real quick. So you're right. I go to Colorado a few years ago, and we end up going to the cool little, it's legal in Colorado, the shops. And I was actually shocked at the ingredients. I
Yeah.
thought it was just, marijuana, period.
Yeah.
Right? Cannabis, sativa, indica, whatever they call it. The ingredients that were actually on the marijuana plant, like when you buy it, and at the end it goes, and love, period. So it's marijuana and then bam, 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 bam. I was like, oh my God, there's more than just a leafy green in here, comma, and love. And there's lots of love in this marijuana. So yes, you're absolutely correct. If you don't grow it in your backyard, you have no idea what's in there. No idea.
Anybody want coffee?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm great, thanks.
Okay.
Right in the backyard.
No, I'm not that. I'm just thinking, like, how the fuck do we get onto marijuana? Because that's another podcast. I actually wanted to get a professor in South Africa on to talk about marijuana and CBD and all the research that they did. And she's been flying around doing a few things, but fortunately, the weight of my podcast was not enticing enough for her to say yes. So
Really?
She got a message from a random motherfucker that was like, would you like to talk about marijuana on live air?
Yes, right?
And she probably looked at some of the content that I have there. Anyway, moving on. So we talked about gluten now.
Gluten.
What's the third one that you said?
Sugar.
Sugar. So I think the warped perception here is sugar means these little white grains.
Yes.
So-
Which is made by humans. Oh my God, here we go again.
Yeah.
There's natural sugar. There's honey, which is great. There's maple syrup, which is great for sweetening your tea, making your pancakes. But now the humans, I really don't know how they made sugar and where it actually comes from. But I just know it's human made. It's not naturally grown in.
And do we call that refined sugar?
Yes.
So whenever you see white things that you put into something, that's called refined sugar.
That's called refined
All
sugar.
other sugars, if you're in the nutritional world, becomes glucose, and
Glucose, sucralose, fructose, yeah, and then there's honey, there's
it's
agave.
naturally
there's-
within the.
Yeah, it's actually made in nature. And then
Yeah.
there's refined sugar, which is actually made by humans. And when you have that refined sugar, I mean, these three things that we're talking about, dairy, gluten, and sugar, all come down to one simple basic word: inflammation. Inflammation. It causes inflammation, and inflammation is the root cause of all diseases. So if you want to go back and be like, well, why am I not healthy? Why are you eating? Do you have diabetes? Do you have cholesterol? Do you have a stroke? Do you have high blood pressure? Whatever the case may be, do you have bloating, swelling ankles? Who knows? It comes back to your diets. What type of inflammation are you eating that you're not getting any better?
So inflammation, if I understand you correctly, it means what you just said. I feel bloated.
Skin rash. I mean, inflammation is so broad.
You know, I have a lot of pain in my body and I don't know why. Inflammation.
Yes, inflammation.
I feel
Headache.
like I have a hangover.
Inflammation. I'm feel foggy today. I just can't take inflammation.
So because something that
Sinus inflammation.
I thought I had allergies. So this is the thing that I thought about last night, which we'll get to a bit later. But I'm off antidepressants and neurological regulator, epilepsy pill, whatever. So let's say that cost me 400 Rand a month. Gone. Then I was using nasal sprays the whole year because of the allergies on the farm.
Those trees.
Those goddamn trees and the fucking bees.
Fucking
I hear
leaves.
bees are good for allergies, actually.
They are.
They take away your allergies. Everyone's like, hey, bees around. It's bad for my allergies. So,
Bees are like probably one of the most important insects in the world.
so no more money on nasal sprays. Then,
Fabulous.
so if you take away all of that, then suddenly you have money to spend on good quality products.
Yes. Boom. Drop the mic. This podcast over. I mean, did you
Yeah.
get it, y'all?
in this podcast, we throw the other person with the mic. We don't drop it. If you're gonna break it, make it worth it on camera.
Totally.
So That's inflammation.
That's inflammation. And you know what's so sad, Marve? When I got my food sensitivity, which we're going to talk in a second, one of the things that I came out positive was cane sugar. And I was shocked. I didn't even know I could be allergic to sugar, or anybody could be allergic to sugar. But sugar is hidden in so many things. You don't even know that sugar in your tomato sauce. There is sugar in, obviously, all your sweets, so we're not even going to get there because everybody's smart. We know that there's sugar in sweets. In bread, there's sugar in bread. There is sugar in, sometimes in butter. There's sugar in sour cream. I mean, where you least expect it. Seth and I were at the shop trying to find, I was dying 3 years ago. I wanted to cook something sweet. Out of the whole section, in the sweet section, I was trying to find one. I almost felt like a diabetic, you know, looking for that cookie that didn't have any sweet. 2 things that didn't have sugar that I can actually make at home and sweeten it myself with either a banana or applesauce or honey or maple syrup. Cornbread. Cornbread batter was the only thing I could do, and it was another one which I wasn't very appetizing, so I didn't buy it. But everything has either coconut sugar or this sugar, so if you wanted to buy something without sugar, it's very minimal. Very minimal amount of stuff.
It's crazy,
Even jerky has sugar. Meat, dehydrated meat has sugar.
It's like, you can buy tomato puree or relish, or we have this thing called chakalaka, which is like the spicy type of Indian curry thing. Like anything, you can buy, what do you call it, peas.
Yeah.
Peas will have sugar in it. It's like...
Even pickles. Pickles have sugar in it.
And it's crazy to see... what all of this does with your pain tolerance.
It all goes back to inflammation. Inflammation, it causes swelling, it causes your arteries to dilate, it causes so much. So your body, instead of spending the time of healing and repairing, we continue to buy, hypothetically speaking, the cheap bread or the sodas because we're addicted. I mean, we are addicted to food. Is that plain and simple? That's why we can't stop eating for 3 days. Or it's hard for us to eat healthy because we're always snacking. And we don't realize that either the Gatorade that has electrolytes, I mean, even the social media has brainwashed it to be like, oh my God, I'm so dehydrated, I need a Gatorade. I'm so hungover, I need the electrolyte, I need Pedialyte. You look at the back of a fucking Pedialyte. Holy shit, there's like 42 grams of sugar. I'm like, how is this taking your hangover over? How is this making your hangover better?
How is it finishing your hangover?
Yeah, a straight sugar.
Yeah.
Even when you go for a diabetes test, they give you a thing to shut down. It's straight sugar.
What?
To see if your insulin level goes up. You just fed me a fucking shot of sugar.
But it's like, so I think like if anyone listens to this, it's like, I think it's not about beating ourselves up about it. It's like you don't know.
You don't
and
know.
then you get to realize, because even so, this was what I went through. I went through like anti-sugar years ago. You know, I haven't had sugar in my coffee for at least 5 years, unless, you know, my brother made a mistake, because I don't see him ever. So I have been off refined sugar for a very long time, unless I have a bit of a cheat, you know.
Mars bar.
But then it goes even deeper to, even a fucking banana is wrong for you. Even grapes are wrong for you. Even an apple is wrong for you. And then it's like, I finally made this big change in my life of not having refined sugar. You're telling me I can't have bananas? And it's like, I don't know if I can go there. I don't know if I have the discipline and the commitment. So...
But here, I need to say something about that. So, to a certain extent, yes, you can have banana.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have grapes.
Yeah, I'm just talking broad-centered.
Right.
Because, for example, I used to have like sugar, blood sugar levels would go down. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But we figured out it's my medication. Mm-hmm. So I would be like, I need something just because I'm going to throw up, I'm going to pass out, whatever. So I'll be like, fucking banana's not going to be that bad to just quickly have now. And it's like, no. So it's even like, but what I'm trying to say is for people that are trying to climb onto the wagon, just give yourself a break. It is deep, it is, but it's incrementally you implement it. And it's the lesser of two evils. Yeah. And then slowly you get to like...
Absolutely. If you have to stop eating your ice cream and have 3 bananas, eat 3 bananas and eating the ice cream all day.
Yeah.
All day. If you have to have your mango and your pineapple as a smoothie so you don't have that I don't know, Diet Coke that's full of sugar. Yes, man, it's just little baby changes. And one thing I like to recommend my patients is, great, once you've moved that step into your nutritional health, now that you're like, all right, I've discarded the ice cream, the cookies, the Oreo cookies, and all that. Now, where am I going to minimize my sugar content?
Yeah.
So, can you have a banana once a week, twice a week? Yes. But now next week it'll be a different fruit. So now it's not going to the shop and buying a 6-pack of banana every Sunday. That's just too much sugar now consumption. Now you've eaten 16 bananas in 1 month. Too much. How about 4 bananas in a month? Or just 1 a month, you know? And then grapes. Keep in mind, seasonal. In Africa, in South Africa, do you have bananas year-round? I don't know. In
Yes.
Puerto Rico, we do.
Yes.
Obviously, you have grapes year-round because you guys have vineyards. Maybe South Africa.
We don't have grapes on the vines all year round.
You don't?
But we don't have them in the shops either all year round. No.
Oh.
So the grapes aren't all year round, but like apples, bananas, oranges, narchies, they pretty much. Strawberries and grapes are the two that it's very like seasonal. Avocados are all year round.
All year round. Yeah. See? And again, it's having that variety where if apples are January to March, eat apples January to March. And then from March to July is grapes, and stop the apples at the grapes.
Okay.
See? And then from August to September is bananas, and eat the bananas. That's what it is, rotating. And then knowing that if you're out in the wild and you find a little thing of grapes, it's not unlimited grapes. Like
Yeah.
you go to the shop, it's that little ramito. And then you have your 10 grapes, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a deep thing, this nutrition thing. But I like what I sometimes say to people, not on this, but like in other areas of life, I'm like, listen, we getting your primary school right now.
Oh my goodness.
You're in kindergarten, okay? So just see it, like you're gonna go through kindergarten, primary school, high school. We're gonna get you like a bachelor's degree, then you're gonna get your honors, then your masters, then your PhD. So it's not like next month I'm looking like the old Brad Pitt, because the new one is a bit old.
It's a little old. Still hot.
You can see which era I grew up in. I don't know who's the current hottie around on the movie circuit.
Yeah, in my 20s I knew who. And
Yeah.
now I just,
She's 23, but she does know who Brad Pitt is.
beautiful.
Let's change the podcast into who do you rate the top 10 hottest Hollywood actors? So I think also for some people it's like, because it's like I see you and Dr. Seth, and it's like you guys have been doing it for so long and it's so natural, and
There's discipline.
it's like you don't get there within a day.
Oh,
you know,
no.
it's a slow process, and I think
A year. I give my patients minimum of a year with me.
yeah.
And they go a year and you want fast results. It's been 4 weeks and I have to bring them back and be like, 1 year. Slow and steady changes.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people start these things and they don't see the results, or they hang around people that give them a hard time. That it's like, dude, you've been fucking suffering for 2 months and you don't look different. And it's like people don't realize the slow changes that happens. And so I think it's definitely the support you get around you, the people you hang out, and giving yourself. And also this whole thing of, you know, falling off the bandwagon or just quickly jogging next to it. You know, just quickly jog next to the wagon and then you jump back on. Like,
It's yeah, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, you know, it's how do you have this discipline, whether it's a friend or a coach that can go, I slammed pizza and Oreo cookies last night.
Yeah.
And today I'm having Chick-fil-A or the fast food. Okay, great. Then you got to call, you know how we have moral support, your AA, your mentors,
Yeah.
or your confident.
Yeah.
You have to call that confident to just reel you back in.
I have
if
some
you don't
peop-
have the willpower.
yeah, I have some people, they like, we said, listen, alcohol is not good for us. And then it's like, cool, we're going to try not to do that. And then every now and again, some of my friends will be like, I was drinking. And I was like, I normally ask them, did you enjoy it? And generally the response is no. I'll be like, cool, so let's try not to do that again.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like no judgment, no, like whatever.
No
Dude,
judgment.
let's just move forward. You know, we've taken a few steps back, but let's,
But always move forward and always find your why, Marve. Always find your why.
but is there, if you take, maybe there is a study on this. Again, you guys are so much more read up about the topics. If you took rats and you got them addicted to alcohol and you got them addicted to refined sugar. What does it become like for the rats when they go cold turkey on those two substances?
Oh my God, it's going through withdrawals.
Both of those, refined sugar and...
I don't know much about the alcohol. I know more about the refined sugar. I know the alcohol.
But is it rough going off refined sugars?
Oh my God, yes. People, it's just like coffee. People go through withdrawals. You get hangry. Oh, yes. I mean, there was a study where they actually gave the rats a little cocaine water, a little sugar water, and a little regular water.
Okay.
Cocaine water, sugar water, and regular water.
Yeah, Dr. Seth told me, I think,
and
about this.
And they let the rats loose. There's a few crazy rats with the heroin.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3. A lot of rats drank the water, but most of the rats ended up with the sugar water. It's an addiction. It lights up your brain, literally lights up your brain like on fire. It makes you happy. That's why that moment of gorging on that Oreo cookie, you go, oh my God, it's so good. But then the moment you get away from them for 3 to 5 days, you go through withdrawals.
It'd be awesome to see, like, if you hook up
Headaches.
people with the thing on the head,
The
and it's
balls
like,
with the cables.
please snort a line of cocaine, and if you can't find any people that's willing to do that, I can hook you up. You
Totally hook you
inject
up.
a couple of milliliters of heroin. You have, for example, an Oreo cookie,
Yeah.
and you have some alcohol, and let's see what it does to the brain waves and all of that.
Yeah.
So if we talk about rats here that's being used as test dummies, is organizations like PETA upset when we say stuff like that?
Absolutely. I'm
They
sure
don't
there
like
is.
it.
I know, and I'm sorry. I'm all about human life and care for them, but
Yeah.
that's just the reality.
Like we like to test on the rats, we are welcoming them to test on us if they can capture us,
Anybody that's listening, you know the FDA is testing on us regardless.
isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Whether it's with foods or mandatory vaccines, which we're not going to get into a topic on that, but whether it is, they are testing us. I'm sorry, you know those planes that fly by and they drop those white lines?
I don't see that though.
You don't see that in South Africa. Well, we see this in America. You look up into the sky and there's just these white lines. And I'm sorry, they are throwing stuff into the environment. For what? I don't know. While we sleep at night, they have trucks that spray into the sidewalks and into the environment to kill mosquitoes and to kill what else? I don't know. For all we know, it could be flu drugs, antibiotics. I have no idea. But yeah, we're human experiments. We just don't know it.
So why are you such a big advocate of flu vaccines?
If I tell you, Marvin, here's a spoon with a little cancer in it. I said, open your mouth. Would you take it?
Yeah.
It's just a little open. No. And then we feel like, you know, a flu vaccine is a toxin that we're purposely putting in our body. Period. No bueno.
It's crazy, huh? But this is all topics for a different day.
It is.
I'm going to move on to the gut biome because a lot of what we're talking about is, I think, like what you guys have accomplished with me. Obviously, it's us because I have to work with you, but I've basically... I've just given myself as a test dummy, and
You see? Human experiment.
I've literally been like, I wake up roughly what time they tell me and go to bed and listen, eat this. But I think what's happened is that this whole gut biome, so my stomach wasn't feeling great when I got here. I think obviously the travel, the stress of coming here, the excitement, and it took a few days. Then we went on to the diet, and then my body just fucked out. Like I was basically constipated for 5 or 6 days, and if I did go to the bathroom, it wasn't solid stool. It was more like a strange liquidy type of thing, but not even like a diarrhea. It's almost like when you see in those movies where somebody gets taken over by a ghost and then they have to puke it out, and it's this weird oily.
Slimy.
Yeah, so it was very strange, and now... This last 2 weeks, like my body feels good, and it's like if we eat pizza like we do, like it feels like my body 100% gets rid of what it doesn't want the next day, if that makes sense. So in the past, my body will just hold on to everything I ate. It really struggles to digest, but also like the body is this amazing thing. Like you give it fucking poison, it will somehow find the nutrients out of the poison, keep it, and try to flush out everything. And I think my body previously couldn't flush. Now it's like flushing, and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And is that connected to the gut biome, and how does that whole process work?
Well, let's talk about a little bit about what is the gut biome.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the life in your gut, the bacteria that we have inside it. We have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria. I'm not going to call it bad bacteria because our body doesn't hold on to bad bacteria.
Yeah.
But it's the billions of live bacteria that we have there that's keeping us alive and healthy, either to remove the toxins, either to make neurotransmitters, to absorb. I mean, it is a family in there. And when that is happy in your gut, we don't realize that whatever we put in has to process it. If that's happy, your health is happy. If you're putting shit in it, you're gonna get shit out of it. It's that simple. You put stuff in, and the communication between your gut biome and your brain is massive. You know, that's why, you know, you get the butterflies. You know, you get little butterflies, that little gut feeling. That is your inner soul talking to you. So always listen to that gut feeling. It connects with the brain and it talks to it left and right. I'm missing this. I need that. That gut feeling, you're like, well, I can't breathe. I'm a little anxious. I mean, that is your gut and brain connection.
But but let's break it down now to gut biome, feeling, brain 101. I'm 13 years old. There's this pretty girl, and I want to go tell her she's pretty. So now I feel the butterfly. So, so what is what trying to tell what there?
It's a connection. So we have our enteric plexus.
Yeah.
It's its own separate nervous system in the gut. But of course, nervous system is connected to the brain and the spinal cord.
Yeah.
So like I said, hormones, neurotransmitters are made here. So that feeling of, I love this girl, I think I like this girl, it's not only made in your gut, but it's also made in your brain. They communicate. So now you go, well, do I tell her this or do I tell her not? It's just a feeling. Just letting you know that we're alive, not only because our brain is here and you can understand, but we're alive because of this gut biome.
Yeah.
If this gut biome is filled with yeast or infection, you are going to replicate disease. You are. If this gut biome, this house of living amoebas and bacteria is happy and healthy, you replicate health.
So is that feeling of butterflies, does that originate in your brain?
It originates in your gut.
So if I go and I'm like, ooh, I feel nervous. My gut knew that before my head knew that.
I would say so.
Really? And that is just letting the body know that it's about to do something exciting.
Well, exciting.
Or scary. But it doesn't mean I need something right now. Maybe just oxygen.
Yeah,
just breathing properly.
Maybe you need some guts to go do something. But I mean, it's like your gut. You know, I took Relax the other day, that little magnesium thing, because I was feeling a little under the weather, and I'm hanging on the couch. In 30 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, And so there's always where I'm like, oh my stomach. And it was 20 minutes later, I was in the toilet just getting rid of life. Getting rid of life. And again, it goes back to the gut feeling. It lets you know whether you're feeling good, whether you're feeling bad. When you're not hungry, if you're sick, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm just not hungry, that is your gut telling you, I'm busy healing and repairing. I am busy trying to get you healthier. Don't eat. Follow that gut instinct, man. You listen to your body. Your body's smart. It tells you a lot. Whether you're hungry, whether you're horny, whatever the case may be. Just listen to that thing. Whether you're mad, anxious, gut. So it's
so talking to you guys and just going on this deep journey this last year, I'm like, fuck, our body is literally like Wolverine. Like it literally,
I love it.
It is like, it can do special shit.
Yeah.
But the interesting discussion I've had with my psychologist this last year is that he's trying to get me to think of feelings as more a physical experience than a psychological experience, which I've been finding quite interesting. He's like, so what are you feeling? It's like angry. So he's like, so what does that feel like? I feel like fucking angry, dude. He's like, no. What are you feeling? It's like, I feel warm. You know, my muscles are swollen. You know, my chest it's a physical experience. So I'm anxious. Anxiety is a big one for me. He's like, so what do you feel? He's like, the shoulders are drooping. Like the ribs are craving in. There's less oxygen. My breathing becomes different. So he's like, sad, you know, it's like cold. So he's trying to tell me, focus on the physical experience of that feeling. And then, for example, anxiety, which restricts my breathing, it's like, well, stand or do something in a position where you can actually get oxygen to your lungs. You know?
It's like doing something about it. It's like trying to figure out the why. I'm a why type of girl.
Yeah.
So like when we started this podcast, I was nervous. My heart's feeling really fast.
Yeah.
It happens. Like I'm shaking a little bit, and I said, I had to tell myself, just take a deep breath. We're just gonna have a conversation. Taking a deep breath to find your inner self, to realize nothing bad is gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
Just sitting here, smiling and talking. And if I don't know the answer to something, just say I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. What's keto? I don't know. We covered this topic already. So getting back to the gut biome. So like leaky gut or upset tummy, or generally when because your stool should be solid all the time, no? Ideally.
Ideally, yes. Ideally. Well, if it's constipated, that means you're dehydrated. So when it's constipated, that means either you're not drinking too much water or your body has absorbed it. That's why it's hard to poo. Or when you have diarrhea, that means you're overhydrated and therefore it's just flushing through your body. You had no time to actually dehydrate it. That's why it comes out watery. So when it comes to leaky gut, that term is just used
Freely.
Yes.
It's like depression. It's a blanket term for a bunch of different things underneath. Yeah. Like, are you angry, sad, frustrated, hopeless? So it's a broad term. Like, let's be more specific.
Yeah. So when people say leaky gut, they go, "Well, what's leaking?" It's kind of funny. It's like, well, it's not really leaking.
Pizza Hut is leaking at the moment. Domino's. Cadbury. Fuck, that sounds. Sorry, guys.
The Cadbury egg.
No, let's please.
Anyway, leaky gut. So when
but is that connected to the gut biome?
It is.
Yeah.
It's part of the gut biome. Because when you have leaky gut, when it means leaky, it just means that there's inflammation in your gut. Therefore, there is crap leaking into your bloodstream. There is stuff leaking into places that it shouldn't be there.
Okay.
So if it's leaky, what do you want to do? Unleak it. And how do you do that? You want to strengthen your gut. So this is hard for me to understand, even though I know it's true, but they say that if you take out your gut and you spread it, it's about the size of 3 tennis courts.
What the fuck?
Exactly. Again, it's hard for me. I need to see it. Like, sometimes I'm like, show it.
Sorry, we gotta.
Like, they say that if you take out your enteric nervous system and your gut,
let's go to Wimbledon and let's go test this.
I go, the size of 3 tennis, because it's kind of. Again, it's hard for me to understand, but that's what they say. So moving forward, I mean, I'm sure they've tested it. I mean, it's in books that we learn in high school. I'm like, what? It's impossible. But they say it's that big. So with the foods that we eat that are causing inflammation, best way I can explain it is you get a mosquito bite, right? It bites you. What happens? It swells.
Yeah.
It swells.
Itches.
It turns red. Now you scratch it. That's what happens when we continue to eat foods. In this case, we've had 3 topics: dairy, gluten, and sugar on a constantly basis. We put it in. It's like a mosquito bite. Our body is made amazing. It's supposed to heal and repair, but under the same triggers over and over again. So now the mosquito, you stop itching it, and it turns into a scab, and then tomorrow it itches again. What do? You scratch it, now you bleed. So that constant feeding of inflammation, eventually the body goes, fuck, man. You know what? I'm just going to start leaking, which just causes inflammation, and eventually that inflammation swells so much, it causes little gaps in between your intestinal lining.
Yeah.
Right? And that intestinal lining is semi-permeable. Something semi means some, permeable, penetrate in and out. Some things penetrate, some things can't. Little particles are allowed to smooth right out in there because they're supposed to be in there. Great. Those little particles are supposed to be in our bloodstream.
Yeah.
When we have leaky gut and they swell and inflame, what gets through there? Anything and everything. Therefore, now it becomes systemic and it's in our bloodstream where it's not supposed to be there. So our smart bodies go, holy crap, hello, Mr. Protein, hello, Mr. Virus, hello, Mr. Whatever, you're not supposed to be here. So now we're going to make antibodies because your body's that smart. Now it has to fight whatever is in your system instead of working on keeping you alive and healthy, whether it's be your gut biome or working on leaking it out. Now it's on defense mode. 24/7. As long as you continue to eat this dairy, gluten, and sugar, it's on defense mode.
Fuck. It's like this, the computer within your body is just so advanced.
It's so advanced. It knows what to do every single time.
It's like
but then it crashes when it just goes, I'm done, man.
And if people don't understand that, it's like frostbite, for example.
Oh, so cool.
It's like the basic idea of frostbite is the vital organs needs blood and oxygen and all of that, and it determines very fast which is the least necessary body parts to survive.
To survive.
It's like if I send less oxygen to these fuckers, there's more for the heart, for the whatever. So frostbite, although it's ugly and it's terrible, it is a beautiful thing that the body actually does to help you.
It's survival mode, yes. It does. This thing is smart.
It just does everything naturally.
It does. It releases hormones when it needs to. It makes its own cholesterol. People were like, oh my God, I have high cholesterol. Did you know you make cholesterol within the body?
Yeah.
So why are you trying to take it down? We make it. So figure out, why is your cholesterol high? Yeah. You have to figure out the why. And if people start understanding the why, why am I tired? Why am I obese? Why I can't lose weight? Why are my hormones fucked up? Why? Then you have a better understanding of your health. Why? Why am I depressed? Why am I anxious? Are there some people that literally have real neurotransmitter issues and it's real depression or bipolar? Yes. Schizophrenia? Yes. That's 1% or 5% of the population. Yes, that's a totally different story. But nowadays, we're so unhealthy, whether it's our environmental, because of what we eat or how we grew up, etc., that it's misconfused into you have this. And sometimes us as human, we'd rather have a diagnosis and know what it is to be like, oh, I found the solution. Not knowing that sometimes what you're eating is what's causing this bad mood, depression, anxiety. Who knows? Rash, skin rash. Mine was a lip rash. What was causing my lip cancer? I thought I had lip cancer.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and get this on the documentary, but something that I suffered from was severely dry elbows. Like, Anya was like sometimes embarrassed of my fucking dry. She's like, listen, we're going to like nice friends tonight. Like,
put some Vaseline on those elbows, my friend.
Let's just cover. Like, I either put on a long shirt, and I just don't give a fuck. But so when I got here and I spoke to Dr. Seth, and he was just like talking about these things. Like, my elbows are basically healed now.
I mean, they look nice. I didn't know what they looked like before, but they look
So
nice.
I'm going to try and find pictures. I've never gone to take a picture of my dodgy elbow, but I'm going to see if I can find one that we've done by accident and add it to the documentary. But it's crazy to see all these things, you know, and it's like, why do I have dry elbows?
Yeah.
I would never have thought nutrition.
Exactly.
You know, like,
think about it. Seasonal allergies, it happens in my practice all the time. It's the trees. I'm allergic to the season. Sorry, 90% of that shit is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's what you're eating. It's what you're eating.
And it's just fascinating to see that the body is getting rid of everything that it doesn't want. And I can feel at the moment, I'm going to try and say this without being too crass, but it's like my digestive system is getting rid of more things than what it used to. So once I go to the bathroom, it's larger than what it used to, because I feel like it's really unloading what it doesn't want. Where previously it was just really struggling to get rid of the stuff. And I feel like if I've had a big meal, the next day it's like I can go to the bathroom and I continue my day as if, almost feel like I have 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
You know, you go into sand, your 4-wheel drive just can fucking continue. Where before, like, you almost get stuck in that sand and it's slow. And it's just this internal thing's not working nicely.
And you know, two things. We need a lot of good fats in our diet. So when people go, yeah, I eat avocados and walnuts. You've been with us for the past four weeks. How much fat do you eat? You have fat in your coffee. You have fat in the sardines. You have fat. I mean, even when I cook, there is extra butter. There's extra Coke. I mean, it is a high amount of fat, which is phenomenal. Again, we forget the fat lubricates our brain, our arteries, our cholesterol.
And we didn't have walnuts and avos. We didn't have any walnuts. We had like each like an avo or two avos.
A few avos, but we hide fat in everything, or the foods that we eat are high in fat content. Not only that, another great thing that I noticed, I mean, I'm my own little self-experiment, body odor. If you have body odor, something that you're eating isn't working for you. I mean, yes, we have a little body odor here and there, but when you go, holy snap, that's out of control. You got to figure out why. You have to figure out why you should have a little bit or no body odor at all. And sometimes when you're releasing toxins from your body, it can take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months before your body goes, oh, wow, there's no body odor. There's days that I have no body odor. When I cheat, oh, it's stinky under there.
Yeah.
When I don't cheat, it's not stinky under there.
Because, again, I don't want to talk about it, and we're going to have to move on in a bit because we have maximum half an hour left. But
Okay.
So, again, if you follow what Sanchez and STRAUSS, Dr. Sanchez and STRAUSS is saying, it is overwhelming because it's like I've already bought in so much into this whole lifestyle thing. And then I got here, and a week later, like, Seth coming out of the bathroom, he's like, it's almost like, what the fuck is this? Like the Terminator. I'm like, it's Colgate toothpaste. What the fuck is this? It's Shield antiperspirant. It's like, this is not good for you. I'm like, Jesus, there's nothing I can do right in this world. And I'm like, the depths of health, not
intricate.
depths of hell, but depths of health, like the lengths that you have to go. But coming to your thing, I haven't had body odor
Really?
that I know of for a month. Something that I've noticed is previously, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like a cold locomotive that needs to take a hot shower to be warmed up, to be ready to go out into my day. Where when I've been here, I haven't needed any showers in the morning. If I grab my shower at night, because I normally finish my day with a shower, I'll sleep 6, 7, 8 hours. I have to take a shower before my body is warm enough to face the day. I haven't needed showers. And even some days where in South Africa I skip a shower, I feel dirty for some reason. There's this, I haven't had my shower. Where here, I don't know, like I've just felt clean, I felt light, I'm like ready to go generally. It's coming to your thing, you know, what you just said.
And again, you have a full carbohydrate meal the night before, let it be pizza, donuts, whatever the case. You are going to wake up groggy, foggy, this day's gonna suck.
Yeah.
You don't wake up full of energy. You have a nice steak meal with some good fats and nice veggies. You go to sleep, you wake up, I promise you,
Yeah.
night and day.
Slightly disagree there. If you've had 3 pizzas for 3 days and then you have a steak, you're still going to feel like shit the next day.
Definitely.
So
Oh,
I think,
yeah. Totally.
I don't know, I think it's just, and it's not, again, like if everyone's trying to get onto the bandwagon, hang out with the right people in the sense of, if you feel like shit, don't be like, well, you did something wrong.
No.
Because I think, myself included, I sometimes think I'm eating healthy, and I'm very proud of myself when I got home, and I'm like, I bought really good shit, I made this, and then even if I eat healthy, I feel like shit sometimes. So it's not like we do something wrong if we feel bad, but it's
That's going to lead into the food sensitivity.
which is my segue into the test that we do. So we're gonna we have half an hour.
Okay.
So we're going to just fit the 2 topics. So we're going to talk about the Dutch test, the food sensitivity test, and the stool test. Those 3.
So I have about 10 minutes on each.
No.
5 minutes on each.
You've got about 10 minutes for all 3.
For all 3, all
Because
right.
then we've also got to talk about, so the one thing that I really want to
Supplements.
talk about for 20 minutes is I've been on antidepressants for 3 years and I've been struggling for 9 months to get off them. So I've been weaning myself off. But I've also been on this mood stabilizer because my psychiatrist thinks or thought, I don't know what the fuck that idiot is thinking, but it's like neurological damage, which is possibly true due to all this stuff.
Totally.
So it's like an epilepsy pill. So I've gone off that, and that's been one of the worst things I've experienced ever. Is detoxing off that stuff, and for 3 days it was a fucking nightmare. And then Dr. Cinnamon over here, she's like, well, I've got about 40 tablets that you can take every day, and the shit's gone. It's not gone away. I'm still detoxing, and I still periodically feel like shit. Like last night I didn't feel that great. But it is a world apart from where I've been, where last Saturday I was sleeping until 3 in the afternoon, and even when I woke up, I don't want to be around people, I just want to be in a little cave, I don't feel comfortable moving, I don't feel... The list goes on to, I think this Saturday we went fucking to a theme park.
We did.
And I went to a meeting, I went fucking gymming at 10 o'clock at night. It was like...
He was stoked about life.
And
It
I'm
was so
still
awesome.
uncomfortable being on 40 pills a day, but it's supplements. And again, I'm putting my trust, my will and my trust into people that I think knows more than me and more qualified. So I do it, even though still every day I take it. I'm like, I'm not that comfortable taking these things, but I'm doing it because it's...
There's no side effects. And we're going to talk about the supplements in detail. I have all this cool information here. So,
Which one are we doing? Let's maybe do the supplements now.
let's do them now so
And
we're
then
not
we
rushing.
have 10 minutes for fucking
Perfect.
food test, because
the-
that's not that important for me right now.
Well-
I want to know about supplements because this has got to go into the documentary as well.
Perfect.
So you have 20 minutes, go.
Go.
So if anyone wants to go check it out, I was on Zytomil 10 milligram. Now that is the South African name for it. There is a different name in America for it. Then I was on Epitech 200 milligram. Now that's also a South African name. There's a different name for it. Now my disturbance was that once we came here, the doctor sat down with me and they were like, we're trying to figure out your body because we are doing extreme exercise and your muscles don't burn. So I will do heavy exercise and my muscles don't burn. My muscles get tired, but it doesn't burn. Next day, I don't have any stiffness in the body where Dr. Seth Strauss, that is a billion times stronger, more capable, and just a better specimen than me, his muscles are burning and he's super stiff, you know, and he did fucking 20 million times heavier stuff and more than me. So that's what's the first thing that got us on. What the fuck is this medication doing to you? Secondly, I continue to get nausea whenever I got hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So I get hungry and I get like nauseous.
Angry. So they call it here
Well,
in
not
America.
even angry, because I'm not angry. I'm just like, I feel like throwing up. Like I'm hungry and I feel like throwing up. So I'm pretty mellow, but I was like, this isn't right. And then also, I generally eat quite healthy, you know, but I have all this fucking weight on me and I have this fatigue and shit. And then we went into the list of what it can do to you. I was like, I don't mind that the doctor put me on it. What I have a big moral objection to is that he did not sit down with me as if you're doing a business contract. You'd be like, this is all the legal stipulations that you should be aware of, that in case something goes wrong or you feel it, please know that this is quite normal. Because what I just said, we had to learn through fucking a nightmare process. If that fucking cunt told me that this is some of the side effects you might be feeling, and I know I have a responsibility to have read up, but some of that shit was not in the brieflet that I got.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it is. I'll have to go through it again, but I'm like, it should be forced upon that your doctor should go through that list with you. It's like if you've signed a contract, a company has an obligation to explain to the employee or any person what they are signing.
This is what you're signing, and these could be some of the consequences of what you might be feeling.
Woo! So, over to you.
And the last thing I'm going to say about that, you know, sometimes doctors have the right intention.
Yeah.
The thing is, are you willing to help the patient temporarily, or is this for a long-term solution? You know, did he have the right intentions to help
Well, he
you?
didn't, because he wanted to diagnose me with ADD or ADHD. So before we even got to some of the other shit, he wanted to do that. And all my friends and my parents were like, this guy's crazy. My wife went there later. He tried to diagnose her with ADHD, and she's the last person in the world. And my brother did get diagnosed with ADHD. And it's like, it seems that there is some weird, like,
and sometimes
it's
it
like
is.
he's standing there with his hammer. And it's like he's just waiting for nails coming
How
in.
many HCSD can I get
He
today?
never asked me, what's your sleeping pattern like?
Yeah.
What are you eating? How much exercise? He told me when I was getting off a lot of foods, my fucking cheat meal will be 7 tangerines or nachos. We'll be like, well, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
He's like, no wonder you can't lose weight. I'm like, dude, that's my fucking cheat meal for the week. 7, I wanted to have...
Yes.
He's like, so no wonder you can't lose weight.
Really?
You know what I mean? So this is
Really?
why I say there is a line of he doesn't know much or
Yeah.
doesn't know better.
No.
But I also don't think that he has the best intentions. There's something weird there.
Yeah, they don't. So let's get into some supplement. So I was out of town, and when I came back, I hear about... Sorry, I'm done. When I come back, I hear about Marva's detox and how he's not doing good. So automatically, I'm like, hold on, we have to substitute one for the other. And I have some phenomenal supplements at the office. And I remember talking to Dr. Seth, and I was like, he needs this, and this. You know, that's the first few ones that come in. And we're going to talk in details why. Those are the first ones that came up to me. And Dr. Seth is like, all right, we'll get them tomorrow. And I was like, no, there's no tomorrow. We have to get them now. Like, this guy's suffering, you know? In my brain, you got to substitute one for another one, particularly in some cases. And the first one that I thought about was Alcidonia. Alcidonia is it's funny because I actually Googled Alcidonia before this.
And it's not acetone. I spoke to a psychiatrist. I'm like, yeah, she put me on acetone. She's like, what?
She was like, well, Katally's a little crazy, but acetone.
And it's working.
Acetone. Alcidonia. And we're part of the Wellness Way. And I'm not sure if this is like a Wellness Way supplement only in it, because I actually Googled Alcidonia. There is nothing you can buy of Alcidonia like over the counter.
Yeah.
Now, you can buy all the ingredients separately, but I believe this company has together put all those magical herbs that we have in a pill form that help, that are mood stabilizers.
Yeah.
So Alcidonia actually contains vitamin B6, B12, magnesium, and a bunch of support blends like GABA, passion flower, and 5-alpha THP. 5-hydroxytryptophan. 5-alpha THP. I just made that up. I can't see. And the vitamin Bs are great because vitamin Bs are they help with circulation, right, and arterial health. But what I love about this Alcidonia, that is a mood stabilizer, it was actually recommended for me when my hormones were all over the place. Hormones are over the place. My thyroid was a little bit on the low level. And again, you have to listen to your body, because they actually sent me in a different herb. And every time I took this herb, I remember telling Dr. Seth, I go, my mood changes. Something's not right. I'm angry. So I tell my mentor, I'm like, listen, I think I'm doing great with everybody, but with this one herb, Bacopa. Then she goes, then it's not for you. Stop it.
Yeah.
So I didn't continue to do this just to be like, oh, we'll just get through. No. So you were almost like a little specimen test for me. You're like my little guinea pig. I was like, well, Alcidonia should probably work for him. If it worked for me, well, we'll see. We'll see. But
I wouldn't recommend some of this. Like, I've put it in the documentary. I was like, listen, if I could go back in time, I would change a lot.
Yeah.
But I am glad that we did it. You know why I'm glad that I did it? I put it into a little diary thing. I'm glad we fucking cold turkeyed for 3 days, which was not recommended to me by many professionals.
Yes.
But I am glad we did it for the pure fact that I could see the fucking detrimental effects of not being on it. And it was told to me that this is very mild things that I'm on, because I did not want to go on any medication. And I'm like, if mild medication is doing this, then what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it was good for me to see medicated Merve, detox Merve, and then hopefully in the next 6 to 9 months we get back to normal Merve.
Yeah, normal Merve. And I mean, again, unfortunately, I will be on supplements for the rest of my life. I feel like some people are going to be, because again, this society that we've built, we've missed our boat on either what our childhood was brought up, what cheap is, what we think healthy is. Therefore, we are deficient in a bunch of stuff. But moving forward, acetone for Marve. It's a mood stabilizer, and I love it because it's GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter, and it actually helps with depression and anxiety. 5-HTP. 5-HTP actually is an amino acid that's made within the body that, again, helps with not depression necessarily, but sleeping, anxiety. And we can consume this in some foods. I don't know exactly where we can find 5-HTP in certain foods, but it has magnesium oxides and vitamin B6 and 12, which help with circulation. So again, it comes back with that gut biome, because some of these neurotransmitters are made in the gut. So the moment you intake it, it's literally working with your brain and gut at the same time. So I knew that for you, I was like, this is going to be great for him. I know it is. Changing one medication for a mood stabilizer.
Yeah, it's the like lesser of two evils
Almost, because I know for a fact this one will have no side effects. You can get off of it tomorrow.
But this you can buy without, you can sell this without having a license. Is this, or like, can you go buy this anywhere you want? Is this legal all the way?
Well, no. Like I said, I Googled this Acedonia name. You can't buy this unless via the Wellness Way from a professional.
So a Wellness Way is an umbrella group that you're part of.
It's an umbrella group that we're part of, correct.
But it's not like you have to have a prescription to get this.
No.
You can just buy it.
Oh, yes,
like a herb.
It's
or
like a
herb, like you guys say.
Yes. And it has passion flower, and I love passion flower. Passion flower saved my life.
Okay.
2 years ago when my hormones were through the roof, my testosterone was on the floor, I was fatigued, and passion flower is just phenomenal for muscle spasms, for calming down the central nervous system. And I mean, Myra, what we did a lot with you is that work with not only your lifestyle, which has to do with inflammation and moods in life, but also with your central nervous system. And we forget that this is the only body part that we have no replacement for. We can have a
heart transplant,
liver transplant. We can have a kidney transplant. We can have a foot transplant. We can't have a brain transplant. It's that simple, or a spinal cord transplant. No. So therefore, I was like, not only are we working with the chiropractic side of you and working on the central nervous system that has massive role in your health, but also on your nutritional system that's actually feeding this massive gut and brain that have a massive role in your health.
Yeah. And she uses the massive it's a big part of my body.
Massively.
And it's literally a big part of my body.
Compared to mine's so little.
But it's like also something that I'm just thinking of what they're doing. Like, I hope you will be able to see this in a few podcasts. But my body posture. So I'm sure if you go to some previous podcasts, you'll see me sitting hunched a lot. And my body every now and again is trying to get me over here.
It's muscle memory, and now you're more conscious about it than
just,
you know.
But it's
here.
Like that would never change without them. And I think, you know, so there's again, watch the fucking documentary. Like it will show how we got there, and also the documentary will continue for another 6 months of filming to see if it can be maintained.
Amen.
If you're not staying with the people.
Yeah. So the other supplement I gave Marve was Q Power. That's a fancy name for CoQ10. Q Power. CoQ10, also known as ubiquinol. People that are actually on statins. In America now they're learning this process, but in Canada, if you go home with statins, because statin is a drug for cholesterol, high cholesterol, it's mandatory for you to go home with CoQ10. Why? Because the side effects that whatever cholesterol has, CoQ10 can actually reverse the side effects. America just gives you a statin and goodbye, here you go. So I gave you CoQ10 because it's not made with turmeric or curcumin. Moving on. Face. I gave you CoQ10 because, it is CoQ10 ubiquinol. It is great for energy. It's great for circulation. And when we talk about inflammation, we need amazing circulation for arterial health, for brain health. A lot of people that are fogginess, when it comes to inflammation, we got to feed it. It's like breathing. To me, CoQ10 is like breathing. It gives you energy. It's a natural antioxidant. We've heard about radicals that build inside the body that causes cancer and disease. Well, CoQ10, I just knew it was going to help you. I was like, CoQ10 is like life for all of us. So I gave him CoQ10. Again, I don't know. I've only met Marva about a year ago, but I know that it's amazing. Again, I went with my internal instincts, and I go, CoQ10 is great for circulation. After you were like, well, I'm working out, I'm not feeling anything. I'm like, this guy's stuck, man. This guy is stuck. He's stiff. His body's not working right. Then, do you have anything to say on CoQ10? Then I gave him vitamin D3. Why vitamin D3? Ladies and gentlemen, where do we get vitamin D3 from?
Sorry, quickly. Is there a D1, D2?
Yes.
So there's a bunch of Ds.
I think there's 4 Ds.
Okay, you gave me the D3 then.
I gave you particularly D3 because it's easy for us to eat vitamin D in spinach, kale, vitamin D1 and D2. D3 is found very minusculely in food. You mainly get your D3 from the sun. The sun. So if you're not out in the sun on a daily basis naked for 20 minutes, you are not taking enough vitamin D3. Vitamin D3, it is proven, it is a fact, is a natural anti-inflammatory. See, this word inflammation is everywhere. It's a natural inflammatory. It protects you against cancer, against heart disease, against strokes. I mean, it's essential for life. So normally my patients with fair skin, I go, you're white, man. You need some vitamin D3. Yeah. And nowadays we have this misconception that we can't go out in the sun because it causes skin cancer. Heard. Because humans, number one, we have broken the ozone layer, therefore the UV lights are higher. Yes, but now if you go fry yourself from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the sun, yes, you're damaging the outside of your skin, making it pink, causing inflammation. Therefore, yes, it can lead to skin cancer.
So basically, let's not look for ways to stay in the sun longer. Let's just get out of the sun after half an hour.
Yes, get out of the sun after. Or if you go at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning when the sun's starting to rise,
Yeah.
you can be out in the sun for an hour and a half. It doesn't burn you. Have you ever gone outside and you go, oh my fuck, the sun feels so good. That's how essential it is to us.
Yeah.
So, or you can go at 4 o'clock, where you can actually get from 4 to 5. You can go out to the sun and you won't even get burnt. Yeah, that right there is essential for life. So the goal is don't get burnt. Don't go burn yourself out in
You
the
should
sun.
never become pink.
Light pink is fine.
Okay.
Don't get lobster red.
Yes.
Yeah, that you have burned yourself. Therefore, you have damaged your skin cells. So yes, and prolonged damage and repetition over and over and over again, yes, it's going to cause skin cancer.
Cool.
But nowadays, we're scared of the sun. So my patients are deficient in vitamin D3 to the fullest. A nice normal range of vitamin D3, if you ever get a blood test, is anywhere between 60 and 80 milligrams. I have patients with 14.
Okay.
Yeah, no bueno. So I knew that, boom, even though you are in the sun a lot in South Africa, again, I don't know what your vitamin D3 levels are, but in the moment in time, you will get tested and then we'll go from there.
Sweet.
But then again, it helps with anti-inflammation, and my job right now was to work on your inflammation, which is what the CoQ10 is for as well. Then I put Marvin ashwagandha.
Is that the pronunciation?
No, it's just the way I say it.
What is the correct pronunciation of that? Ashwagandha?
Yeah, right there. Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha?
Ashwagandha.
Something like that.
Something like that, yes. The reason I gave you this one is because I was put on that one too. It is a massive... He is a massive man. It is an amazing adaptogenic herb. Adaptogenic, what does that mean? It adapts. It actually adapts to your internal environment. So if you have high stress level, if you have high cortisol, it actually works on lowering it. If you have high cholesterol, it works on balancing it out. It literally just balances it out. Don't know what your stress level is like. It works on your adrenals. It works on overall internal environment. So again, taking you off of one. I didn't see you via the detox process, but I remember asking Seth, how's he doing? And Seth is like, he's not doing good. I was like, this adaptogenic will help balance your internal state of what you're going through.
Cool. I can definitely notice so I'm flying to South Africa
Oh my God, that's
in
right.
7 hours. And if I look calm, I attained a little bit of anxiety about 5-10 minutes ago because we're running out of time, but it is also a bit like, but I'm super calm for a guy that flies to, my wife always says, like, what time, she said yesterday, like, what time are you leaving tomorrow? I'm like, flight's leaving at 5. She's like, oh, so you're going to be at the airport at 7 in the morning. I have so much anxiety on days that I fly that I just want to get to the airport
And just hang
and
out.
just hang out there and I'm doing a fucking podcast and I'm actually
Literally.
present, which is, it's crazy. So there's
Blessings.
I'm not going to talk about it, but it's strange for me sitting here being able to focus and do this because
It's not you.
it's not me.
You're like, no, I gotta go to the airport.
You have 10 minutes to finish the rest.
Woo! Well, no, that was it. I put you on ashwagandha, vitamin D3. Oh, fish oil is the last one. Ubiquinol, Oxidonia, which nobody can find outside of
Yeah.
me, and fish oil. Why fish oil? Again, I'm going to come back. I'm repeating myself because I gave you anything that's going to bring down inflammation, that's going to stimulate your brain, and that is essential for your health. Fish oil is found in small fish, sardines, mackerel, herring, salmon. I mean, again, if you eat these constantly, you have a variety of fish on a daily basis, you don't need to supplement on fish oil. But you got to eat it on a literally daily basis. You don't need vitamin D3 if you're out in the sun for 20 minutes. So, I mean, there's substitution for this. Some of us cannot be out in the sun or eat fish on a daily basis. Some people don't even like fish. So yes, you need fish oil for the rest of your life if you want to prevent Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. It goes back to brain health, inflammation or anti-inflammation, brain health. It's that simple, Marve.
And all of these is through the wellness way, except the fish oil.
No, you can actually find these anywhere.
Yeah, but the
Except
ones I'm
acetone.
consuming.
Except acetone.
Yeah, but the ones I'm consuming are all through the wellness way, except the fish oil.
Yes, except the fish oil.
And
which
all of
is
them are legal herbs.
and all of them are legal herbs, over the counter. Yes, not one is a prescription.
But stuff like kava, that becomes, I think, is not available in South Africa. There are some, I can't remember, but like Seth said, like
Albizia is not in South Africa. I believe we tried finding that for Nina's boyfriend.
yeah, so there are some of the stuff that he's asked me to get a year ago, but I'm like, some of those things you can't get in our country.
Yes, you probably can't get
But
it.
all quite interesting. You have 9 minutes to do food sensitivity test, Dutch test, and stool test.
All right.
Summarize that in 9.
Here we go. Food sensitivity. Why food sensitivities? If you're experiencing, again, skin rashes, bloating, headaches, lip rash, whatever the case may be, fogginess, food sensitivity will actually let you know what foods that you have an allergic reaction to momentarily. Keeping in mind that a food sensitivity isn't for the rest of your life. A lot of people think it is. It's temporary because your body does what? Heals and repair on a daily basis. It's like a fish tank. All of a sudden, you don't have a filter and the fish start pooping and you're like, oh my God, what do? You got to start taking some water out, dumping some good water in, dump some water out, dump some water in. And your body, and the fish tank will actually, and you put in a damn filter, that thing's going to get pretty. The same thing with your body. Remove the foods that are causing inflammation, you start healing, and then you can introduce them little by little. But you don't know until you test. Would you ever take a blood pressure medication without getting your blood pressure taken and monitoring it for a few months? Exactly. So you can say, well, I'm not losing weight, or if you're not reaching your end goals and you think you're eating healthy, whatever that entails, food sensitivity will actually help rule out a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's that simple. For me, it was only 6 things, but it was 6 things that I was doing every damn weekend.
Onion, red pepper.
Brewer's yeast, which is found in beer, and cane sugar. Strawberries.
So that test that you do, it's about 100 items that it's checking for.
It tests for 110 items, and I know that nowadays there's hair and the skin pricks when we were younger. Y'all, that's dinosaur era. Like cars drive themselves now, and Apple phones are move forward in technology. It's like that. There's nothing more accurate than a blood test.
Cool.
Blood draw actually lets you know what's a picture, moment in time. If it's a hair thing, ladies, gentlemen, it's dead. How much information can you get from dead hair, or particularly if you dye it or bleach it, there's no life in here. Yeah.
And food tests, I think Carolyn podcast, we did it, like it can change.
Oh, it can totally change.
So if you change yourself, then you literally change yourself. So in a year, you might not be allergic to onions.
Yeah.
But you can become again allergic
to cucumber. But again, that's why we have no high blood pressure today or cholesterol or cancer, and then next year all of a sudden you have cancer or high blood pressure. You are a specimen that's actually moving forward either towards health or towards disease.
Cool. Dutch test, 2 minutes.
That's it. Moving on. Stool test. So the stool test can tell you so much. So it is a fact. It is known that we know 7 live bacteria that live in our gut. 7. The test that we run in the office actually tests for 5. If you're missing one of them, there is a problem. That means your gut biome isn't as healthy as you think you are. There could be an imbalance, and there could be an infection. When it was in my case, I had an infection I had no idea about. 0. Again, I didn't have any bloating, any diarrhea, any constipation. It lets you know if you have a yeast overgrowth. A small amount of yeast is normal in our body. It's in our skin, it's in our mouth, it's in our anus, it's in our vagina, it's everywhere. But an overgrowth due to shitty diets, gluten, sugar, sweet, whatever the case may be, will cause an overgrowth. And if there is a yeast in your gut, it's called the yeasty beastie, you will never be healthy. You will never, ever be healthy. You have to kill infections. You have to kill yeast. And some of these are silent. The stool test also tests for parasites. Literally, I think it's about 30 parasites. And this is crazy. So yesterday, I'm doing a stool test for this client, and on the first page he's like, oh, I've been on the same supplement for 3 years, I'm good. I was like, well, maybe you need to revisit your supplement because your bacteria are not growing. It says NG, no growth. You should have seen his face. And he had a massive amount of imbalanced bacteria, and I'm like, so whatever your probiotics are doing aren't killing this bacteria or this imbalance. You gotta have a balance internal. Again, you're moving towards health, you're moving towards disease. He didn't have an infection. If you have an infection, you have to kill it. And he was like, oh, well, good. At least I don't have a parasite. I looked at this test 3 times. My wellness coach, Carolyn, looked at it. When I flipped the page and I go, well, luckily you don't have any parasites, I opened my eyes and there it is. He had dysentemic amoebas, which is a form of parasite. And I go, holy snap, I'm so sorry. I have missed your parasites in your gut.
And I met this guy briefly. He did not look unhealthy at all.
Right?
He looks very dapper.
And he actually just lost like 10 pounds.
Yeah, he looks great.
He looks
super
great.
Friendly, super nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So, you don't know what you don't know. So, we speak about the parasite protocol. It actually lets me know how your pancreas is doing, your enzyme, how you're actually chewing. Are you chewing and digesting your fibers, your protein and carbohydrates nicely? It lets me know what your inflammatory markers are, patients that are suffering from ulcerative colitis or IBS. Lets me know your inflammatory markers. My favorite one is secretory IgA. Your secretory IgA is like the skin of your gut. It lets me know how your primary of defense is in your gut biome. Is it undercharged or is it overcharged? Obviously, we always want a medium, but if it's overcharged, it's a good thing. It lets me know that it's actually working. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But if it's an undercharge, I'm sorry, you're leading towards disease because you want your immune system, your system of defense, nice and powerful. Do you want 4 Marvas going into war or do you want 150? Exactly. And then the last thing it does, it lets me know if you have any ulcers and/or rectal bleeding or internal bleeding. It's a phenomenal test.
Great.
Phenomenal test.
You have 2 minutes to do the last one. Is it the Dutch test?
The Dutch test is a phenomenal hormone test. It lets me know more than just numerical values. Not just, you do a blood work and it's like, here's your estrogen, here's your testosterone, here's your cortisol. The Dutch test lets me know the pathways. So is it your liver issue not converting properly? Is it more your adrenals that are not converting into testosterone, into estrogen? Is it your pregnenolone, or is it your androgens, which are male versus female characteristic hormones? Which of these, or if it's too high or low, is it an insulin resistant or is it thyroid? So this Dutch hormone test, the best part about it, it literally looks at your body and it lets you know where the problem is. Is it your melatonin that you're not sleeping? If you have low melatonin levels, it actually leads to depression and anxiety. Or is it your cortisol? Either it's too much inflammation, therefore you have free cortisone within your body, or is it cortisol, which is your stress level? And it's nicely detailed in just numerical values, which is what we're used to. Here's a piece of paper with numbers. It's high, low. And just because your testosterone is low doesn't necessarily mean we give you testosterone to increase it. We go, F that. It's actually your DHEA. You need to sleep a little more. You need to change your alarm clock. You need to do this. So, it's working on lifestyle too, more than just giving you something for something that you're deficient in.
It's like an official audit of your body. And you get like an official audit and let's just that's your action plan. Yeah,
like for example, when my patients come in low with ferritin, what does the doctor want to do? They want to put them on iron pills, and I go, stop. No, let's not give you iron pills for your low ferritin. Let's actually stimulate what actually stimulates. Let's give you beef liver tablets that stimulate the liver, which will actually produce iron. See, versus just giving you iron for it. 'Cause sometimes you just take them and you poop them out. So you're not helping the metabolism of the body, where probably you're just supplementing something that's slow and not necessarily isn't what you need. That's the Duchess in a...
I cannot believe it. There's 15 seconds left before we
OMG.
hit 11.
Hey, man. Drop the
Let's
mic.
we gotta wrap it up because we still have quite a few activities to do before we get me to the airport.
Get you to the airport
And my
dry your blood.
anxiety is kicking in.
It's kicking in now,
I'm
so
like,
this is a good
I
time
gotta
to wrap
pack
it
the
up.
fucking podcast up. I've gotta go pack all my bags. I've
Yes.
gotta like
Dry your blood.
I gotta do a few things. We're doing my blood test a bit later. I thought we might do it on camera a bit later, so we'll definitely capture that for the documentary.
Totally.
Like
Did you tell him how cute you were when there was a 4-year-old child screaming bloody murder because she didn't want to get her blood drawn? Of course, as a 4-year-old child. And here comes Marve. He was like, you want to see me? I'll get my blood drawn. We draw his blood, and they're like, what do we do? We're like, we're throwing away your blood now. We don't need it.
Yeah, unfortunately it didn't work though. It did calm her down for 5 minutes, but
You know, it actually went through the lab actually ran the blood, and we got her results, even with 0.5 millimeter of serum.
That's
so
good.
It was
That
good.
was one of the most traumatic hours of my life, just listening to this go. Anyway, let's get the fuck out of here.
Thank you so much, Marvin.
Thank you.
It was awesome being
Sweet.
here.
Ski, medieval is best in the world. Allergies,